Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is TVS News at 5 with me, Muhammad Yusuf. Let us begin with our top story. Now, a search and rescue effort was activated for a missing 10-year-old boy after he went missing when the boat he was traveling in collided with a barge in KAPIT this morning. According to the Fire and Rescue Bomba Department, the incident occurred at the Tongkang Wharf at around 9:30 a.m. The 10-year-old boy was identified as Jenggut Antas.
The boy and his family of 4 were making their way to KAPIT town when the incident struck.
Kita difahamkan perahu mereka kemudian hanyut sebelum terlanggar tongkang yang sedang berlabuh di tebing sungai. Akibat itu perahu mereka karam. Bapa mangsa bersama isteri dan seorang lagi anak mereka berjaya berenang ke tebing untuk menyelamatkan diri manakala Jenggut hilang di bawah arus deras.
The multi-agency search and rescue operation is conducted by Bomba, Police and Civil Defense Force.
National powerlifting ace Bonnie Bunyao Gustin lived up to expectations by winning the men's below 72-kilogram gold medal in Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games at the National Exhibition Centre earlier today. With his win, Malaysia have now won 4 gold medals, short of just 2 gold medals to meet their 6-gold target at the ongoing Commonwealth Games.
Bonnie, who clinched gold at the Tokyo Paralympics last year, successfully lifted a new Games record of 220 kg en route to creating history as the first Malaysian to win the powerlifting event at the Commonwealth Games. England's Mark Swan settled for silver with a 202 kg lift, while Nigeria's Nnamdi Innocent took bronze with a lift of 190 kg. When met by reporters, the Sarawakian athlete admitted that before the Games began, he was quite concerned that he would not be able to meet the gold medal target set for him. When asked why he did not continue with his lifts to break his world record of 230 kg, Bonnie said he did not want to take any risk as he has yet to fully recover from a shoulder injury. He is also happy that his gold medal feat at the Commonwealth Games sees him add to his collection of titles on the world stage, having also emerged triumphant in the Paralympics and the World Championships. Meanwhile, Minister for Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development, Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah, lauded Bonnie's win as an inspiration to other para-athletes. She said his achievement, together with another para-athlete Muhammad Adib Iqbal Abdullah, at the 11th ASEAN Para Games in Indonesia will serve as a source of motivation for local Sarawakian athletes to perform at the Sukma Para Games in Kuala Lumpur from November 1st to 6th. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob also congratulated the powerlifting athlete, saying that his gold made the country proud. The victory more than makes up for the disappointment the 23-year-old Bonnie felt when he finished 4th in his Games debut at the 2018 edition in Gold Coast, Australia. Bonnie had also created history when he won the world title twice in 2019 and 2021. With Bonnie's win, the national contingent now has 4 gold, 2 silver and 3 bronze medals.
Now, the Court of Appeal on Friday ruled that the children born overseas to Malaysian mothers who are married to foreign spouses are not entitled by operation of law to be Malaysian citizens.
The 3-member bench, chaired by Justice Datuk Kamaluddin Muhammad Said, made the ruling after allowing the appeal by the government, Home Ministry and National Registration Department (NRD) Director General, who are appearing as appellants. The majority decision was agreed to by Justice Kamaluddin and Justice Dato Azizah Nawawi, while Justice Dato S. Nanta Balan dissented. Previously, the Association of Family Support and Welfare Selangor and Kuala Lumpur and 6 Malaysian women who are married to foreigners with overseas-born children had on September 9, 2021, succeeded in their lawsuit in the High Court against the 3 appellants.
This is TVS News at 5. Now diving into the topic of the week, which is MA63. Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg has mulled over the idea of establishing Sarawak's own sovereign fund. The end goal is to create a generation that is secured financially. But how will the state government get the funding to kickstart the sovereign fund, and how Sarawak is utilizing its rights under the Malaysian agreement to gain financial security? Now, earlier today, we had the opportunity to speak with Datuk Sharifah Hasidah Said Aman Ghazali, who is the Deputy Minister in the Premier's Department for Law, Malaysia Agreement 1963 and State Federal Relations. Let us hear what she has to say.
You see, now as you see, we have additional revenue from the state sales tax of 2.9 billion already. So this might be more, depending on the oil price. If the oil price is higher, our tax will be higher and we receive more from the federal government and Petronas. So with this additional money and now this surplus, if we have, can be put aside by the government, invest in the sovereign fund to gain more wealth for the future generation of the country. This is the best. We are in the stage of proposal and studying and looking into it. So if this can be done, then the future generation, our future generation will have huge amount of reserve and money for us to develop the state. So we don't have to worry about the money, if we have this sovereign fund. I think that's why it's very important. And that's why the pursuance of our rights under MA63 is very crucial. If we are successful in this, if we have a representative in LHDN, which we will have, we have presented our names to the federal government, still waiting for their reply and response. If all these are in order, and we have additional money, we have surplus, we can form the sovereign fund. It is it's a generation of wealth, getting more wealth for the future of the country.
Now, under the Article 112D of the Malaysian Agreement 1963, Bornean states, Sabah and Sarawak, are entitled to receive a special annual grant from the federal government, acknowledging the equal partner status in forming the federation. Now, according to Deputy Minister in Sarawak Premier's Department for Law, MA63 and State Federal Relations, Datuk Sharifah Hasidah Said Aman Ghazali, there must be a foundation to how the amount of the allocated special grant is granted, which is why the state government is proposing a formula derived by the State Financial Secretary, or SFS, to determine a fair, reasonable and equitable amount to the federal government.
So under Article 112D, the special grant given to us every year must be reviewed every 5 years. Tapi, sadly, was never reviewed since 1969. Baru di-reviewed recently. Yeah? So the review of how to review the grant, we are telling the federal government, you cannot review or give extra to us at your whim and fancy. Up to you, how you want to give. We are telling the federal government that we are giving them a special formula on how to calculate the review, the amount to be the extra amount to be given to Sarawak. The special formula we have submitted to the federal government. Tapi until now, we have not received any feedback from them. So we hope that they will accept our special formula. And this formula is important so that the extra money to be given under special grant is something that is reasonable, something that is equitable, that is fair to Sarawak. And the formula also takes into account the financial position of federal government. We are very fair.
Now, the Sarawak government has taken the initiative to propose the formula to the federal government, and in having a representative in the Inland Revenue Board, IRB, where both parties benefit, to ensure the state receives the right amount of its annual special grant. Now, being on board would also ensure Sarawak is kept informed of how much revenue the country generated and the amount the state should be receiving for its annual special grant. Thus, why the special formula is important and why we need a basis on how to determine the allocation of this special grant, which was last reviewed in 1969.
You see, now as you see, we have additional revenue from the state sales tax of 2.9 billion already. So this might be more depending on the oil price. If the oil price is higher, our tax will be higher and we receive more from the federal government and Petronas. So with this additional money and now this surplus, if we have, can be put aside by the government, invest in the sovereign fund to gain more wealth for the future generation of the country. This is the best. We are in the stage of proposal and studying and looking into it. So if this can be done, then the future generation, our future generation will have huge amount of reserve and money for us to develop the state. So we don't have to worry about the money, if we have this sovereign fund. I think that's why it's very important. And that's why the pursuance of our rights under MA 63 is very crucial. If we are successful in this, if we have a representative in LHDN, which we will have, we have presented our names to the federal government, still waiting for their reply and response. If all these are in order, and we have additional money, we have surplus, we can form the sovereign fund. It is it's a generation of wealth, getting more wealth for the future of the country.
And that is the insights from Datuk Sharifah Hasidah Said Aman Ghazali. Thank you. Now, see the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates, both locally and internationally. Just a click away by heading on to our website at www.tvstv.my or follow us on our social media platforms. And that's all the time we have for TVS News at 5. I'm Mohammed Yusuf. Thank you for watching and have a good day ahead.